Hello everyone, today we have the unfortunate tale about an entitled mother who gets what is coming to her. In this beauty of a story, we have an entitled mother that calls the cops on me for trespassing on my own land, and gets evicted because of it. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see when my next story comes out. All of my subscribers will be automatically entered into a gift card giveaway. You can win an Amazon gift card if you're subscribed. Let's get right into that story. Kicking it off with the cast, we have me, of course.
Entitled mother, a typical entitled cow.
We have Frank, the unlucky neighbor, the owner of Entitled Mother's house, and the father of Entitled Mother's baby daddy.
We have my grandfather, an 83-year-old farmer who takes no crap.
And cops 1, 2, and 3. Backstory. For most of my life, I was raised by my grandfather. Nothing was wrong with my family life or anything, just a few sets of circumstances that's a whole other story in itself. We live in a suburban area surrounded by woods, and he owns about 10 acres into the woods, with the boundaries clearly marked by stone walls. One of these stone walls separated my grandfather's land from a cul-de-sac, and up until now, we have had zero problems with any of them. In fact, my grandfather was usually more than happy to give permission to neighbors who politely asked him to use his land, given they had a good reason. One of these neighbors had asked my grandfather if he could dump the sticks and leaves in his yard over the stone wall. My grandfather agreed, as he rarely uses that part of the property anyway. This will be important later. My grandfather is very healthy for his age and still strong as an ox. That being said, he has a few minor health issues, including vertigo spells, so I've been trying to help him around the yard more and more, as well as just to stay active outside, away from crowds with this virus going around. Recently, I've started the project of cleaning up the underbrush around the wooded area. A large pine had fallen a few months ago, and almost hit one of the porches in the cul-de-sac. My grandfather cut up the tree and removed the pieces in the neighbor's yard, but it was too deep in the woods to pull them out with the tractor. This led to me going back to that pine tree and trying to clear a path back to the house from there. I was behind the stone wall, cutting and pulling up saplings, when I hear the glass door of the cul-de-sac house open, and an angry lady storming out onto the porch in a bathrobe. She was much younger than a typical Karen, I would say mid-20s. Entitled mother.
What are you doing here? You can't be here.
Why not?
Oh, because you're trespassing, you whippersnapper. You think you can just hang out in the woods behind my house with my kids inside? Get out of here before I call the cops.
At this point, I'm just looking at her, trying to figure out what to say. I mean, I get it. It can be a little weird seeing someone in the woods behind your house if you haven't seen them before. Ma'am, I'm sorry if I scared you, but my family owns this part of the woods. I'm just cleaning up back here. Remember, me and my grandfather were here back a few months ago to take care of that tree that fell down. I just need to clear a path so we can get it out of here. At this point, I thought it was purely a misunderstanding.
Don't be ridiculous. Those were laborers my boyfriend's dad hired. You don't own the land. My boyfriend's dad owns all this.
Gestures with her hand.
Now I'll tell you one more time to get out before I call the cops.
Now I'm thinking I might be dealing with a genuine idiot, as outside our property boundaries, the woods are owned by the town water plant and don't have public access. But I'm also taken aback that she referred to us as laborers. Guess you're gonna have to call the cops then, because I ain't moving. I don't care what you, your boyfriend, or your boyfriend's dad says. I shrug as I lean back against the wall and pull out my phone to call my grandfather to tell him where I was. He tells me he'll be there in a few minutes and to hang tight. She then dramatically proceeds to call 911 and tells them there's a shady individual on her property refusing to leave, and she's afraid for her life. I start getting nervous at this point, even though all I have on me is a hooked branch cutter. So I call up the police non-emergency number, briefly explain the situation as just a land dispute that got out of hand, and that I'm unarmed and waiting on my own property. And that I have never left my own property. He assured me that it would be settled when the officers arrive, which didn't help my nerves. Just then I hear my grandfather pull up and see him walking through the yard towards us.
Well, what are you doing? Stay back. You can't come in my yard.
My grandfather growls.
Keep your mouth shut, you dumb broad.
He growled as he walked over to me and climbed over the wall so he was on my side.
Now, who in the hell do you think you are, and why are you yelling at my granddaughter?
Oh, well, my boyfriend's dad owns all this, and both of you are going to get arrested for trespassing.
Ha 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 ha. Oh, did he tell you that? Well, you're in for quite the shock, and your boyfriend's dad is in for quite the talk.
After them yelling back and forth for a few minutes, 2 cop cars pull up and 3 officers come walking into the yard. As soon as they do, she starts screaming again about how we have no right to be in the woods behind her house where, We can see her kids inside. Cop 1 looks over to my grandpa. Sir, do you own the property behind this wall?
Yes, sir, I do.
My grandfather pulls out his wallet to show his address. Cop 1, while eyeing at his license. Sir, this address is for down the street. Me. That's correct, but if you look on Google Maps, it shows the property boundaries of that address reach out through the woods and end at this wall. I hand him my phone, which already has Google Maps open, showing our exact location within the boundary of the property. Cop 2. Yep, she's right. So what were you all doing back here, if you don't mind me asking? We explained the situation of the tree and how we were working to remove the remnants. Meanwhile, the other officer was taking a statement from Entitled Mother. My grandfather chimes in.
I know the owner of this house. He's a good guy. I give him permission to dump his leaves and stuff behind the wall. But I've never seen her before, so I don't know where she got those crazy ideas. But I'm definitely going to have a talk with Frank when he gets home.
Cop 1. She already called him up and he's on his way now. Do you mind sticking around for a little until he gets here?
Sure, we got nothing to do.
The cops walked us to my grandfather's truck where we waited about 10 minutes for Frank to pull in. When he did, he immediately walked over to the truck. Frank. Grandfather's name. OP, what's going on? Someone was hiding out in the woods. Are you okay? Did you see him? To clarify, we have had an issue in the past with people running from cops and hiding in our woods. It took us a second for us to realize he thought that maybe Entitled Mother saw one, and we came to chase him out. Well, not exactly, Frank. At this point, the two cops are around us again, but being two old guys who obviously pose zero threat, they're noticeably relaxed and kind of let them talk it out. Frank explains that Entitled Mother is his granddaughter's mother, and his son had made some mistakes and currently both were staying with him while they tried to find a place of their own. He thinks maybe his son told some lies to make him look better.
Well, I hate to say it to you, but your son made some big mistakes. She is crazy.
Oh, you have no idea. The other cop is still talking to Entitled Mother, who won't stop screaming about not wanting us to be able to see into the living room, especially my grandfather, a creepy old man. My blood is boiling at this point. My grandpa is the type of person who would gladly throw his life away to save a child, any child, even a stranger's. Frank heard this too and ordered Entitled Mother inside at once. He told the cops he needed to have a talk with both her and his son about their living situation, but they might want to remain nearby in case she tries to call again for whatever reason. Me and my grandfather are given the clear to go, but leave our contact information. Found out later that week, Entitled Mother was getting evicted for a number of reasons, with this little incident being the last straw. He's also filing for custody of his granddaughter because Entitled Mother refuses to get a job, yet still has money for weed, yet keeps asking Frank for money to take care of his granddaughter. I feel really bad for her in this situation, but I have no sympathy for Entitled Mother whatsoever. Entitlement at its best. That was a fantastic story, and I have to say that I am honored to have been able to narrate it. All credit does go to the original Reddit poster, PWcrash. Thank you for posting your story to the internet. It was truly wonderful. All credit links will be in the description. Don't copyright claim me, please. If you want me to take it down, do that before you file a copyright strike. I don't want to deal with legal stuff. Thank you. And a quick reminder for all of you party goers out there, please stay inside. Coronavirus is deadly. It can hurt people, and if you go outside, you can spread it, so don't do that. Wash your hands. Take a shower. Take a bath. Do something. Clean yourself. And don't get sick. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Mas não,